Welcome to Jollof and Fiction, home of African literature and stories, the kind that warm your hearts like a fresh pot of jollof. Today, you're tuning into a recorded session of our online book discussion, so sit back, relax, and join the conversation.
To being honest, I just think you should be honest. Yeah, I think why we can justify Rain keeping that secret is because the boyfriend was already cheating on her. Take an instance where what if the boyfriend wasn't actually cheating on her? Do you get? I think he deserved to know, and then I'll be allowed to make the decision.
No, I think even if the boyfriend wasn't cheating on her, she still would have told the boyfriend the truth. I think she's that kind of person.
Yeah, and I think that's the right thing to do. Whether he's cheating or not, I think what I'm saying is I feel most of us, if someone is going to say that Rain was right for not telling, it's because we've seen the boyfriend and we know the boyfriend is a bad person, was cheating on her. But if he wasn't cheating, maybe you would say, oh, I think this boy should find out that this girl is, actually cheated. So I think if you do something like that in a relationship, whether it's going to hurt the person, but I think you should just tell the truth and allow the person make their own decisions. Because come on, cheating is a deal breaker for them, might be. So allow them decide, okay, I understand it was a mistake. Allow them just make that judgment themselves other than keeping it a secret. Because when they eventually find out, I think it's going to hurt more. Because secrets are very bad. So, because, when someone keeps something from me, I think I've been in a situation where someone actually kept something from me. And for whatever reason, you might say it's for my own good, but no. When I eventually find out, I feel very hurt and betrayed. So I think coming out clean is the best thing to do at that point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Olivia. I feel maybe this point of view you have because you are looking at the story from a third eye. You're not in the story, as it were. So you're feeling that, this guy doesn't deserve to know the truth. Do you understand? If you didn't know that he was a cheat, I feel you'd have said, let her tell him, stuff like that. But I understand your point of view as well. That's what I'm saying. But I feel we are reading the story from the third point, so we feel like he doesn't deserve to know the truth. In a way, sir.
I think you got my point wrong. I'm sorry, but I want to clarify. I think you got me wrong. I'm saying that this is my point here. She should have said so, yes. The reason why anybody would think she shouldn't have is because we are saying that the boyfriend is a cheat. But at the same time, I just feel like she should have told him. Even if she didn't know he was cheating, right? So she should have just told him. And maybe the fool will just cut the marriage and walk away and she'll be free safe.
Okay, Mr. May, you want to speak? You can go ahead.
Okay, so what I wanted to add is I've not really been in a position where I found out that they kept something from me, right? But I just feel like tell the person, right? If you know today, if you know 10 years later, if you know tomorrow, it still doesn't make a difference. How you feel that person would feel then is still how the person is going to feel, even if 20 years passes. Because look at Rain finally getting to know that her mother protected the man that she called father for how many years, and he was the one that raped her. And then she's now even justifying the fact that nobody took me in, and you're not even his son, nobody took me in, so because he took you in and took your child in, so therefore whatever he does is right. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Even when it comes to adopted children, right? Tell them, like, don't hide anything. Now you think that person will feel is still the same way the person is going to feel in the end.
Okay, but I don't know, speaking of adopted children, if you adopted a child as a baby, is there a need to tell the child that you're not the child's parent? Maybe your spouse could not have a child, and then you adopted a child as a baby. I feel if I'm the parent, there's no need to tell you, because once I tell you that, it has already created sense in your head that you are looking for your real parents. Do you understand? I don't want you to think that you don't have real parents. That's my thought, sir, but that's a personal choice. People feel they can tell the child, you were adopted, you're not my real child. So, but if I ever adopted a child, I will not even let you know that you were adopted, so you don't feel that stigma in a way, whatever, for want of words, actually. Let's hear from Edidio and then Olivia.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can.
Okay, so I was saying in the comment section that please, you should tell me what the question was, but I didn't get a response. But based on what you just said recently, I think in our today's world, if you adopt a child, maybe not when they're so young, but like if they grow up eventually, you should let them know. You should let them know that you are not their biological parents, because I'm telling you out of experience, like when I witnessed one-on-one, we have this neighbor at home, one of our mommies, all these elderly women that just, comes around. We are family friends and all of that. And then she has 2 daughters. They are grown, married, have children. All of a sudden, the eldest of them stopped picking her calls, stopped talking to her. Like, she totally cut the woman off from her life. And the woman's husband is late. And eventually, they found out it's because she realized that the woman was not her biological mom. And she felt betrayed or whatever the feeling was. So I feel like in our today's world, if you say, you are not going to tell them, I think they have a right to know. Maybe if they ask, let me say if they ask in the future, yeah, they should know. That's my opinion.
I'm not judging, but I feel the girl was too harsh to cut off a woman that raised you. I said maybe the woman was harsh to at some point, then it was not making sense. Why? But it was quite extreme. You get because
it was till today. We don't really like. It was still very shocking.
Exactly. Maybe it says the woman was harsh to a white growing up, but someone who loved you as their own, and then eventually found out. I was telling my mom that if I found out later that I'm not my real mother, I don't even send again because the things which you don't even do for me, so I don't care. You get maybe someone else might feel hurt, so you're not my real mother. I don't care. Like there's no time for all these things, But Mokut was saying something. Mokut was saying something that you feel the person should know.
Yeah.
Personally, I will not even tell you, because once you know, there is that. I don't know how to say it. You just become restless. Do you understand? It just creates that. There's what knowledge does to you. It upsets you. Before you know, it start affecting your action. Your mother does something and says, it's because I'm not a real son. You start drawing inference from every little thing now because of that singular information that you are now aware that you are adopted. You get. So I feel it's best for the child to not even know that he or she was adopted and love the person. You get. Maybe later on when the person is grown, or you think you now tell them, but I will never tell you, honestly speaking. And
that's why I said, sorry to cut it short. If the child asks you later in the future, what will you tell the child? Will you lie or you will tell them the truth?
That is when I'll tell the truth. And before the child will ask, that means something must have happened. And I don't think things will reach that level, because no child will wake up in the morning and say, my real mother. Do you understand? Then maybe you've done something. And I will not let it reach that level, because I don't think I've ever woken up one morning to ask my mother if she's my mother, because she has never given me a reason to ask. In fact, there was one time my mother pranked my sister and I, who were in primary 2 or thereabout. She told my sister and I that she carried us from the gutter. And we started crying. We started crying. My mother it was a prank, really. And then the next day, we went to school and we told our friends that my mother said she picked us from the gutter. It was a very serious matter. Like my teacher, my class teacher, when mom came to pick us from school the next day, she now called us and said, you did not tell us your children were adopted. I said, my mother got so annoyed, and when she went back and she was now scolding. She was not telling us a simple joke I played. She now even reminded me and said, don't even remember when I was giving birth to your sister, you were outside crying. You were just too. And that's when everything now clicked. The memory now clicked that true. Because I remember my mom gave birth to my sister at home. And I was in the veranda crying because I thought my mother was going to die. I was at 2 years old. That's everything started clicking. It's true. She's my mother. She not pick us from the gutter. But the way my mom narrated everything, we felt that she picked us from the gutter. I thought she was joking, but then the issue escalated here. I think almost the whole school heard about it, because we went to a class and telling our classmates that our mother adopted us, so we are not the real thing. But I don't think personally I wake up in the morning and start asking my mother and tell her, that are you my real mother? Maybe something must have happened. So people might have their own perspective, but that's my thought. I will never, and I won't give them a reason to ask. Okay, so can you hear me? I said Mesoma, you can speak now. Sorry, can you, after Mesoma, Moku, then Olivia.
Okay. You see this thing with adopted children, right? Everybody will go to school, and then they teach you biology, they teach you genes, they teach you phenotype and genotype, and then see sometimes it's not even a conscious thought in their heads, right? Sometimes you just look at your parents and look at yourself and you see that there is no resemblance. That alone is going to trigger your inquisitiveness, right? It will now make you to start thinking, are they really my parents? And then somehow you start noticing little things that don't even seem right. Not like it doesn't seem right, but there's no behavior that is like common between you and your parents.
Like it doesn't add up. You see their qualities and yours, and it doesn't add up.
Yes. So you then start to wonder, right? You start to wonder, and then from there you start asking questions. And I really don't have a problem telling someone that they're adopted. Like, if you want to find your adoptive parents, go ahead and find. If they want to have you in their lives, good and fine. I mean, it's just double parents for you, but you can't force a child to not look for their parents if they feel like they're adopted, or if what the behavior that you put around them does not make them feel comfortable. Okay, like the one Eddie talked about, you see that if she felt like she was being maltreated, and then she sees the way like maybe her siblings are being treated, obviously it will spark questions. She even every day she'll be asking herself, am I even your daughter? And then one day she'll now start she'll start finding things in the house, and then maybe she'll see the adopted letters, so and so person has been officially adopted into this family, and then she'll start asking questions. She'll be doing like trying to find her own parents. But I just feel like you have to tell them and let them decide what they want to do with that. What's the English again? What they want to do with that information. And if you show them love, like treat them like normal human beings, you see that the love self will even overshadow the need to find their parents. They'll just conclude, okay, probably my parents didn't want me and this one wanted me, and then they can see that the result is different. But I just feel like you should let them know.
Okay, so you're saying you should let them know. But I'm starting to see what you mean there. Like, I feel, okay, from what you said, I understand now that they have a right to know in a way. They have a right. But my personal, I understand that. I think maybe I would consider that as well, that the children, they have a right to, especially if they're adopted. My own personal reason was because I feel the whole thing where you start feeling, once you tell, like you said, information just changes everything. Once you tell someone they're adopted, they start, even the way you start beating them, they say how you beat a child, do you understand, to correct the child. And because you've already told him he's adopted, he feels you're doing it from a place of hate because I'm not your own. Do you understand? So I feel the best place to tell him is when he's grown. That's the best time to tell him. But as a child, these things, they have the sentiments to it, because there's how my mother has beaten me before. Sometimes I ask myself whether or not this woman born me. Do you understand? And now imagine if she flogged me like that and I know that I was adopted. I'll start thinking it's from a place of hate. And you know how children are. Children can be actually. So that's why I feel the best time to tell the person is when they've grown. That's my point of view, Sha. Before I didn't want to tell them, but hearing you now, I think I would want to tell them. But I'll tell them when they are grown and grown enough to understand it, so that whatever happens, that's that early time of their lives when they are going into teenage is very crucial. And then any information they get now might determine how they start living their lives afterwards. So when they're in a better place to understand, I'll let them know that, okay, you are adopted and this is how it has been so far. Okay, Mokos, you can speak, then Olivia.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So, on this matter of adoption, I just want to speak on two things. The thing with hoarding, anyways, all of this is hoarding of information. So, the thing with adoption is that if you don't tell a child that they are adopted, there are so many, like Mesoma said, your physiological and biological responses to certain things are different. And I genuinely feel like telling a child that they are adopted helps with things like maybe genetic diseases and stuff like that you may not have, but this child is liable to. So yesterday night, coincidentally, I read this adoption story of this girl who was adopted back in the 80s when China was like deep in their killing of girl children. So China had this rule where they aborted girl children. They need girls. So her mom had her and deposited her in front of someone's door, an American couple's door, and the couple picked her up and raised her as their own. And they let her know early on that, when she was really young, actually, that okay, so you may be going to school and you may look different from us. Here's why. It's not that your parents did not need you, but the circumstances surrounding your birth were not the best, and they really just helped her, come to terms with the fact that I'm not American. My parents did not want me, and she has been on a search for her biological parents and has not been ungrateful to the parents who her adoptive parents, really, from the story. So I think it's very essential. Then another thing with hoarding secrets is that, Olivia, sometimes it's very difficult to tell people certain things, to come out and be truthful. If you're caught between a rock and a hard place, do you really think people can handle certain truths? Is the thing. Even as adults, you don't know that.
Exactly what I'm saying. It's some people can't handle something. No matter how you tell them it's right, you tell someone, so the person will just break down, go and commit suicide. You're not regret.
Not even necessarily, but their reaction to you, especially the boy. I don't even know how to explain it, but for someone to be cheating, you just know that the person is emotionally immature. Then imagine handing them a secret. I don't know, but that's my opinion. Sometimes people keep things away from you because they do not know how you will receive it. And imagine now they come and tell you and you don't receive it properly. They'll just regret telling you because you were better off not knowing. Do you get? But that's not for adopted children. You should tell your children that they were adopted to spare them the shock when they are in their 20s and 30s. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. But that's the instance you mentioned about the adopted. That's in a certain instance. But I still feel as a child, the child is not even ready to process that information yet. So I feel you should wait. That's my opinion. No. There's an age you start telling that thing, he's not in the right frame of mind to start processing that. I feel in those early stages of his life, maybe he's a teenager, you just have to raise him as your own child. Do you understand? Till he's old enough to understand and start questioning some things. Okay, why are you both tall and I am short? Or why are you both short and I am very tall? Why am I dark skin and both of you are fair? And then you start explaining. But like I said, when the child is growing, there are certain things that I told you how my parents have flogged me. This one time, me and my sister we planned to pack out of the house because asked us why. They gave us plate to wash. We did not know what the way they flogged us. So we now planned and said that tomorrow we'll pack out of the house. We'll leave the house for them. We leave the house for them. Out the next day, we did not go again because we need to eat. So our plans changed. But I'm just saying because that was how they really flogged us. Imagine we're kids and then we now finally hear that okay, we are adopted. That night we'll pack out and guys start looking for our real parents. I'm just saying that there's a certain age where some things are supposed to be withheld, like some information until you feel the child is old. Like you said about withholding some kind of truth, knowing who you're telling it to. The child at that age is immature. He cannot process that thing in a very good state of mind. So I feel you have to wait to a certain age they now tell him, okay, you are adopted. This is why you need to know it at the time. And I have been open-minded because when I started this review, I was like, I'll never even tell the child. But hearing people share your thoughts now, I think I'm open to the fact that at some point I will tell the child, okay, you were adopted, or so and so, so and so. I told them here from Olivia.
Finally, guys, thank you so much. You guys have said most of the things I wanted to say, but I still want to point some things out. In the issue of adoption, like ever since I was little, I've always had this fantasy of adopting kids. And some days back, I was thinking to myself, what would I do? Like, given the way that almost information cannot be hidden from people anymore, you can just walk in and have a DNA test without even your parents knowing, and then you find out they are not yours. Blah blah blah. I was asking myself, what would I do? Would I tell my child they are not adopted? Because I told myself that any way I treat my biological child is the same way I'm going to treat my adopted child. Like, there's not going to be any difference. And I was even thinking, I was like, I literally don't have a problem with surrogacy. You know, women who don't want to give birth and they contact people to give birth for them. Because honestly, as long as that child is my husband's child, a man I've said I want to do forever with, that's my child, and I'm not even going to tell him. So if I have a surrogate child tomorrow, I am not going to tell that child he's not my child. I'm sorry, but I won't. Maybe later in his life. But I still feel like if I tell a surrogate child that I'm not his mother, he's going to hate me for not wanting to give birth to him. But the truth is, what if you are not what came out, when I decided to give birth? But that's by the way. But when it comes to adopted children, I think they should be told for health reasons. They might have kids in the long run, or there might be a time where you need to transfuse blood or something might come up and they just find out that you cannot give them blood or they cannot get from you because you're not their parent. So I think that, or maybe something happens to you, they're trying to give you blood and then they're telling them that you people don't have a match. None of the kids are a match. Why? You guys are adopted. So it will not be nice if you find out that way. So I think that if my child is about to get married, I think maybe that's the right time to tell him if he wants to start his own family, or when I feel like he's mature of age. And like Naba said, I will not give that child any reason to feel like, oh, so I was actually adopted. So I think it's something I'll do probably if they're trying to get married, and I'll tell them. And I feel like if it's a grateful child, which I feel like I will raise a grateful child, the person will not see me or hate me for, not telling them earlier on or even adopting them. Because, come on, you needed parents and I was there for you and all that. So that's what I really think. And then going back to what I said about keeping secrets, I know that some people might not be able to handle some truths, but I feel like there are some truths that should be told. The truth of faithfulness, being faithful to your partner, it's a truth that you must always tell no matter the situation. Black can never change to white because of circumstances. White will always be white, black will always be black. So I think you cheated is that you cheated. No matter how the person is going to take it, just tell them. Put the whole blame on yourself or whatever you're going to say, just tell them that I'm sorry, it happened, I'm really, really sorry. And you guys are going to resolve it. It will be better than him finding out, because honestly, the way the world is going, I don't think anything can be hidden anymore. Even the person you cheated with can wake up one day and try to use it against you. So other than being blackmailed, which is something I've always told myself when I'm young, other than being blackmailed, I'm going to come out and tell you the truth. I did this thing, this happened, and that is it. So that even if somebody is going to try to blackmail me with it, you will not be surprised. You say, oh, she has already told me and I'm aware. And then we can do it from a place of strength. So this is what I really think. So yeah, adoptive children should be told, and surrogate children, well, I've still not decided. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the insight, Olivia. This thing you said is very profound. Like, to avoid blackmail, just come clean. Just come. This is just very insightful. Thank you very much. Because, like you said, nothing actually can stay hidden again with this age that we are in now. You can imagine you make a post on Twitter like 7 or 10 years ago, somebody go and dig it up. God, this age now, someone should be very wary of the things they say, the things they post, stuff like that. Even disappearing messages, they disappear finished. Well, okay, so lastly, I think the last theme I'd like us to discuss is I don't know if it's just a thing with Nigerians, but every plot I read, the daughter will tell the mother that I was raped by my father, and the woman cannot believe. She was always like, "You're accusing me." You see, I just want to see a Nigerian thing because I don't know how my daughter, if I'm in that situation, maybe I'm a woman, my daughter reaches out to me and says, "Okay, my daddy raped me," or something like that. I'll find it hard to be, because I don't understand. This is like almost the series we've been reading, we're hearing things like this one we read in Black Sister Street. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Is it that you don't believe you are being loved, don't blind you? True. Because I can't understand how your daughter will tell you that they were raped by their father, and then you're saying you want to steal my husband. That's very, and you're not thinking, honestly speaking, you're really not thinking. Something's wrong with you. I don't feel pain, because like all the stories I'm reading, it's the same thing. The daughter will tell you that. But, and no offense, but I understand that. In fact, I think such things happen because even while growing up, my mom would always tell my sister that, I'm sorry I'm missing my family a lot, because this book just basically maybe about family in a way. My mom always tell my sister that you're starting to grow of age. There's a certain way that my father does not come back and see you wearing some kind of things. You get? It's not like he has this tendency, but some things can happen. So my mother will tell you, when you wear these things, especially at night, you don't come out with your tights like that and come sit in the living room. You dress properly and come out and sit in the living room. Because my mom, I don't know if she knows these things can, but you know how men can be. Do you understand? My dad is a very respectable man, but I'm just saying that my mother made those extra measures. Even my cousins that came around to stay for holiday, my mom ensured that you don't dress in the same way and come and sit in the living room. No matter how you say family, just don't even dress. Because even myself, when I was young, I had crushes on my cousins. You know, just those kind of things. So my mom ensured that. So I know that if something like that happened, my mom would have understood, okay. But then I'm reading these stories like that, like, is it something wrong with Nigerian mothers or African mothers, stuff like that? So let me hear your thoughts on the issue. Who raised their hands first? Let me check. Mokus, then Mesoma and Olivia. Mokus, you can speak now.
Hi, again. Sorry, but I genuinely want to say that for every woman that tells their child, their daughter, who comes to say, "Oh, daddy raped me," and they say, "Oh my God, he wants to steal my husband," their husband has been raping them from inception. I don't know how to explain it, but rape puts you in the worst psychological place as a woman, that you start being the river in Egypt. Like, your denial will be over the roof. Last days in Focado's high school was the same plot, literally. And I've come to realize that it's not that they hate their daughters. They hate themselves and not being able to control the situation around what is happening to their daughters. And in their delusion, they start to accuse their, like, I don't know, like, you lose your mind. I don't know how to explain it. Here's something. Another thing is, I genuinely think that mothers who say things like, "Your father is in the parlor, why are you wearing this kind of thing?" or who create an environment where their daughters cannot wear certain things around their fathers, is very, very weird. Why is your husband like that? Why is your husband like, why do you think your husband would be attracted to his child? It's disgusting. Because, and I'm saying this from a place of, my auntie used to be like that. And I fear for such women, because how long have you been abused that you don't recognize abuse in your own child, or you have refused to recognize abuse in your own child? Sometimes their mothers are just wicked. That's all I'm saying. But rape is crazy. And fathers who rape their daughters, here's how they should be killed. They should be raped first until their anus tears. Then they are, like, while they're still alive, their penis should be cut, gently skinned, and then you leave them to bleed and die. That's literally how they should be killed, especially men who rape their daughters. It's crazy to me. I can't imagine. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, but wow. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Mokut, are you now saying that a mother who tells the child how to dress properly in front of a father is being unreasonable? Because that's how my mom, I grew up hearing my mom tell my cousins that when my dad is like, when men are around, especially when I'm around, like my dad or any of my male cousins around, they should dress properly. Like, do you understand? Because your father doesn't mean you should just wear pants and come and sleep in the living room. You're grown, for God's sake. You're 16. You have this. I'm just saying that.
So no, that's not what I'm saying. Here, no, I don't think you. Let me explain it here. Your cousins, yes, you should dress like properly. You should cover up. We all went through that phase. There's no girl that turns 11 and doesn't get self-conscious. Absolutely no girl. Like, absolutely no girl. You start to cover up by yourself. But the thing where a girl has on tights in the house where her dad is there, forget the cousins. So the cousins is you should dress adequately. You should not wear your shorts. But my dad is in the house and I wear tight and singlet, and my mom is coming to fight me for wearing tight and singlet because my dad is in the house. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not as if I'm naked. It's not as if like I'm wearing any revealing thing. But there's just this energy that gives. It's very weird. Now, if your cousins or your uncle were around, you as a girl, you already know that that's not what you should wear when your uncles are around or your cousins are around. Do you understand? But the energy itself around your dad. Now, another thing is human and family interaction. You know your family. But the family where I grew up, my dad did not have a problem with any of his girls wearing tight and singlets around when he was around. Do you get what I'm saying? There's a difference between you dressing. Every girl has that intuition as, like, when you clock 11, you start to cover up. At least that's what happened to me. I clocked 11, even though I did not have anything till I was like 16. But it was this, like, intuitive need to constantly be covered. I used to sleep with blanket to my neck every day. Not because of anything, but just there, like, you get. But when your mom starts to specifically harp on your daddy is around, don't let your father. I'm not like, I've seen situations like this happen. My auntie was like that. Like, she used to make it really weird. When my daddy's around, she'd be sending those. Whoa, that's what I'm saying. Like, I understand where your mom came from. Like, it's like ingrained training and stuff, and it's adequate, it's proper, always like that. But this, where you start to know that it is somehow. You start to recognize the somehowness of it. Thank you.
Okay, I get your point now. I understand. Mr. Ma, you like to speak? After Mr. Ma, then Olivia. Yeah, I think after that we can call it the night. If any other person wants to speak, they can speak after Olivia.
Okay, all I wanted to say was rape is even evident in marriages, right? Sex is consensual, yes, but then that you're married does not mean that the husband can climb you like a mountain anytime he feels like it. If you say no, he should respect your no. Sometimes you may not be in the mood and you tell him no, and then you hear things like, I married you, I paid for you in full, as per commodity when you go buy now. That is rape. Like, once the woman is, I'm not in the mood, is enough consent. I'm not in the mood. That is consent enough. Don't be telling me, I paid for you in full, I paid your bride price. How much is the bride price? Let me pay you back. What is it now? Because of sex. So, what I'm trying to say is, consent is even, in fact, it's very, very important in marriages. And when there is no consent, it's rape. Now, when you see a mother that is so, this one, you're not wearing gown, wear gown. Even people say that are covered in hijab, they are also being raped. What's the excuse? And then all these fathers that we leave their wives that they paid for in quotes, they will leave all the people on the street that they can go and pick to show their infidelity. They will face their children. They will face 2 months, 3 months, 4 months old babies in the name of, it's not even holiness, it's not even holiness or life. It's demonic. You will see people, pedophiles, they are sleeping with their, like, underage self is not even there. In fact, they are sleeping with semi-fit. I'm calm. They are sleeping with 1 year, 2-year-old children. They are sleeping with their children that are still in diapers. And then when you ask them, the devil, which devil? If you are the walking devil. You see, when Mokut was saying they should cast. That one is even mild. I feel like they should set them on fire so that they'll be burning, they'll be shouting, their skin will be peeling. Then they'll add acid so that as their skin is peeling, if they see children, they'll run away. That's all for now.
You sound very pained. I'm not bother asking what happened or what's going on when you're grown up. But it's fine.
Nothing happened. I promise you, nothing happened. My dad is the sweetest man ever. Nothing happened. I promise you.
That's what they used to say. That's everybody says. Everybody says.
I'm serious.
Okay,
but I mean, everything that goes on the news and stuff is triggering. It's triggering. It's very annoying.
All right then, Olivia, let's hear from you. Please, any comment now that has to do with cutting off men's private part or room? Let's end now. Please, thank you very much. Everybody has said their own. I understand that they should be raped. They should be. I don't know. They should be raped. Please. If that's what you want to say, just mute yourself now. Let me just tell you.
Oh my God, it's fine. That's not what I want to say. Oh my God, thank you so much for the opportunity. So, sorry. What's all the violence today? Anyway, I think I agree with Mokut. I agree mostly with what Mokut said. I also agree with Ms. Thomas and what should be done to rapists. So I'm not going to spell it out, but I agree with both of you. And then, I don't think it's a Nigerian thing. It's just a woman thing. There are women who go all out for their daughters. Like, they are willing to rip you apart for what you did to their child. I know it's what we read in stories, and that's because I feel like writers incorporate them into their stories because it's out of the norm. The norm should be that you're fighting for your child, okay? So out of the norm is the fact that you are supporting the rapist. Now, and then when it comes to the issue of, these men like dressing up in front of your father, there was a day my mom, I was wearing a bomb shot. It was a jean, and she was like, I should go and wear something else. That am I not seeing that there are boys here? Who are the boys? My brothers, younger brothers. So I only have one elder brother, and he wasn't even at home that day. Yeah, I had a cousin who was with us then, but it's also my younger cousin. Like, that thing pissed me off. I thought that I don't like this thing you just said, because come on, why are you putting in my mind and in their mind what might not even actually ever exist? You know that consciously saying something brings it into the consciousness of someone, even when that thing is not there. So that was how I felt. I felt offended. Like, why would you even say this? It doesn't just sit right with me. So I think a girl shouldn't have to be made to be conscious of her body because of her father and her brothers. Cousins, yes, you can just advise her, tell her, listen, there's no justification for rape. Nobody has the right to touch your body no matter what, but it's advisable you just cover up. You get not to give them an opportunity or a leverage where to start from. But even if you're stark naked and a guy touches you or tries to climb you because he sees you're naked, it's still wrong. There's no justification for that ever. But at the same time, I don't think it's right for mothers to tell their children to dress up. Oh, don't wear tights, don't wear this because your daddy's at home.
I feel this. There is an extremity to this. I get your point, I understand, but I've heard people say this before, like whether you're wearing an hijab or something, promiscuous people must be promiscuous, and they use that as leverage to dress very, very, very wild, to go overboard. Do you understand? Like, yeah. You get, so that's why in a way I don't really like the fact they say whether you're dressed in a hijab or something, because those be decent, dress decent. There's no harm in dressing decently. Do you get? Because this thing you're saying now is what people use as an excuse and say a promiscuous man will always be promiscuous, whether or not someone is wearing hijab. I know that, but there is still that need to cover up and wear things that cover your body properly. Do you understand? Because you don't know what it does to the human. People that just stare. I'm telling you because I'm a guy. These things it takes. I was working one time on the road, and I'm just this is not relating to brothers and sisters and fathers. I'm just saying this as a side thought, because you said that, and I remember that there's that argument on social media that people are saying women should wear what they like, that men normally, whether or not you cover up and stuff like that. I'm just saying that should not be like an excuse to dress indecently.
Okay, can I clarify something? Like, I'm not literally saying that people should dress indecently. It's actually wrong if you dress indecently, and then because you can't predict what will happen. My point is, around your family members, you should not always be protected, especially your dad and your siblings. Like, there are some kind of things that should not be said because it suddenly brings in an awareness of something that was not even there before. So if a girl like dresses in shorts before her dad and her brothers, like, I don't see anything wrong in it. And for God's sake, as a guy, you feel hot. My brothers walk around the whole house shirtless. These guys are down to just boxers. And I'm sorry, sometimes you can even see the shape of their penis when they want to pee, like when they need to pee. Do you get when they are so, now? So, but for me now, my mom can never even allow me wear something short and a half top because I am hot. I still have to dress fully, wear a dress, wear a shirt. I feel hot too. And if I had big boobs, come on, I would have been sweating profusely. But thank God I don't. So, but what of those who do? So they make you look like girls are not permitted to. Boys too have indecent ways of dressing. I'm not saying that amongst parents, like parents should just try to inculcate this thing in their children that they should not put what is not there. I've said this thing before when we talked about feminism and all. I said don't put thoughts that are not there, and that is what I think. But when it comes to the outside world, yes, there was a time in Kogi State, I think I've also said this thing here before, where they were saying that they have the highest rape case in Nigeria back then. And guess what? These people are mostly Muslims. They dress in hijabs, they cover up, but they still get raped. So rape is not a question of what you actually wear. It's just a state of the person's mind. The person is a psychopath. The person feels like he wants to take things by force, and that is why they force themselves on women. But I'm not saying it also justifies their dressing indecently. Yes, dress decently, but it's not going to stop you from getting raped if somebody wants to. And at the same time, I also think that mothers should not make their female daughters feel like there's something wrong with just wearing something light at home, especially around their brothers and siblings. Cousins, understandable. Uncles, yes, because you don't know these people on close range and you don't know what they can do. So I really think that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Don't forget to hit the follow button and tap on the notification icon to stay updated. That's all for today's episode. To join our book club or stay updated on future discussions, follow us on Instagram and X at Jollof Book Club, Jollof with a double F. And thank you so much for listening.